Have you ever been afraid of ghosts? And what conditions of fear are you in? Hello, I'm Catherine. I'm glad to be here. My presentation today will be analyzes the literatures of this book, Spooky Story. To start with, I will describe the information about this book. Second, I will move on to the value of these literatures and analyze the character. After that, I will deal with the main issue from reading this story. And finally, I will focus on how to apply in daily life. Before we start, I would just like to give some background information about my fear. Okay, what happened to me is to stay at home alone since I was young with my two younger sisters because my parents went to work until 8 p.m. Also, next to the next house is an abandoned house where the murder happened. This was the start of fear that allowed in my imagination when I live alone and the place is dark every time. So I have never watched or read ghost story at all. Whereas these books were designed in the cute versions, it made me courage to open my mind. Moreover, if I had read this book as a child, my fear would have faded. How does the book relate with me? Firstly, I will start with the information about this book. This is a Paragon book English language, the same size as A4 paper and written by Korean lecturers and artists. Printed and bound in Italy, it was produced in 1999 and was published in January 1st, 2001. For 22 years to the present, there are 150 pages with weight 4.5 pounds. And genre of this poem is a nursery rhyme is consistent with consonant and vowel spell by A.B. This is an example from the first page before going into the story. Welcome to the haunting house. Step into the rusty gas. Be quiet as a mouse. We are going to sneak and take a peek. Inside the haunting house, ghosts are hooting in the hallway. Ghastly ghosts lurk on the stair. Ink and Spike have a pillow fight to catch you unaware. In the kitchen, there are a wizard making slug and spider pies. They are for a very special meal, a Halloween surprise. Then I will look at this story. The title is Hood and Owl. The story of hunting dog named Harry, who constantly howled in front of an abandoned house. But in this house, there were three girls who were especially scared of Harry's house. An owl that fell by then helped Harry come to meet the three girls. Then it found the truth that he howled was just because it was lonely and had no friends. So the three girls decided to allow him to be there together. I'll finish the first part, then moving to the next one. How about the value of these literatures? There are three excellent and deep values as follows. Firstly, the value of adequate language. The melodiness of the poem gives the reader an emotional feelings and imaginations about acting of the girls in the abandoned house, including frightening atmosphere. The meaning of the word and language chosen by the author has a meaning that motivates the reader. For example, dosing, yaw, phantom, mounting, breakthrough, swung, krung, and ambing, etc. Secondly, the value of content. The concepts and strategies for presentations are appropriate for children. The concepts of using character expresses fearful behavior. At the beginning of the story add to which the cuteness of the problem itself becomes sympathetic. Furthermore, the story is compellingly divided into pivotal moments to enter the next page. And finally, the value of social. This literature reflects the state of society in judging people, most of whom underestimate and judge artists based on irrelevant factors such as the intonations of speech, more specifically are their appearance and face. With this literature can also affect society to realize empathy and sacrifice as well. Then move to analyze the character in this story. Character selections are very important for children to read and easily create their imaginations. It's surprising that in which the author used character to conduct behavior or habit to convey scary story to be killed. The character chosen by the author in this story have consistent significance as follows. Firstly, Silver, Gabugone, and Bone Idol. The three girls, despite their name and appearance, are terrifying, but their minds are still afraid of hairy howl like humans. Next, Harry. The other should to be hunting dog with a winged face shape, large body, terrifying and horrible. But the symbol of the dog that the author conveyed to the reader is the dog is a faithful animal. It needs friend, love, warmth, and attention from the owner. Which is the story point out that even though he is a good dog, but has a hurt. Finally, the owl is symbolic meaning of the indicate a negative thing such as omens or death. But the visions of a positive bird is intelligence, eager, resourceful, and often encouraged during difficult times. Of the story, as you can see from this story or other story such as A Guide to Wizards of the World book by Merlin, Legends of the Guardians, The Art of Darkhold by Catherine Blasty, 2003, and Harry Potter's Magical Animal Farm, Harry Potter book by J.K. Rowling, 1997. But in mythology say that when owls appear in mythology, their meaning is often uncertain and complex, neither or good nor or bad. The beliefs about the owls. The American would absolutely forbid people from tampering with owls. It's believed that they are very close to demon magic in the Aztecs, the Maya, and the native Mesoamerica. The owl was believed to symbolize destruction and death. However, many people believe that the owls are positive symbols. In Asia, according to the Japanese cultures, the owl and the hawk as messengers of the gods is a positive sign, while a barn owl is considered a devil bird, which is a negative symbol. In Europe, according to the Greek mythologies, the Greek goddess Athena, which the Greek goddess of the birds, this is goddess of sublimity, art, expertise. So they are a symbol of teachings and education institutions. Next, the Irish believe that the owl are a symbol of fortunate, but they must kill it because if it fell out of the house, good luck will pass as well. Not only the Irish believe, But also there are Burmese people, Greeks, Hindus, and Britons still believe that the owls are symbol of wisdom, intelligence, happiness, and lucky. If you are the one who likes owls, let's listen to the fun fact about it. Firstly, there are more than 150 species of owl in the world. Owl diversity is found in Asia, and only 19 owl species are found in the United States and Canada. Next, the flattened facial disc of an owl funnels sound to the bird's ear and magnify it as much as 10 times to help the owl hear noise humans can't detect. Next, it loaded their head up to 273 degrees or 135 degrees to either side, but they cannot turn their head all the way around. Next, an owl has 3 eyelids, one for blinking, one for sleeping, and the last one for keeping the eye clean and healthy. Next, a brown owl can eat up to 1,000 mice each year, usually swallowing them whole. Next, it has specialized feature with finger of varying softness that help silence fires, which help them stop playing more easily. Another fact, for most owl species, females are larger, heavier, and more aggressive than males. The last one, owls have been found in the fossil record up to 58 million years ago. The largest record owl fossil stood about 3 feet tall. Now, moving to the next part, it is the main issue from reading this story. There are two main issues from reading this story. Firstly, empathy. The empathy is an essential rule of human life. Empathy is that we can understand and take thoughts, feelings, emotions, and perspective of the other party come in our own view. The 3 types of empathy are thought empathy, emotional, and pity. Types of empathy. There are different types of empathy that a person may experience. Firstly, affective empathy involves the ability to understand another person's emotion and respond appropriately. Such emotional understanding may lead to someone feeling concern for another person's well-being, or it may lead to feeling of person distress. Next, somatic empathy involves having a sort of physical reactions and response to what someone else is experiencing. People sometimes physically experience what another person is feeling. When you see someone else feeling embarrassing, for example, you might start to blush or have an upset stomach. And the last one, cognitive empathy, involves being able to understand another person's mental state and what they might be thinking in response to the situation. This is related to what psychologists refer to as theory of mind or thinking about what other people thinking. Imagine yourself in another person's shoes. I feel it's important that we should aware of empathy and pay attention to us. It's more than just a social skill. Let's see the example of the benefit of empathy. Firstly, empathy enabling people to understand and be in harmony with others is a way to help us respond appropriately to social situations. Next, if we understand others, can control our emotions and able to help a person get through stressful situations. Finally, we will be able to help others more. Not only can we understand other people's emotions, but we can also understand problem and help others. This is more than a social skill to help you, but is to understand others, to help human beings together. This makes me think of the theory of developing empathy. Hoffman's theory of developing empathy. There are four states. State 1. Global empathy. A child expects sympathy from seeing another person. So the child in the lens will feel the same way that it did to himself. For example, an 11-month-old child girl seeing a child falling and crying. A child acts like he's about to cry himself by putting his thumb in his mouth and sticking his face in his mother's face like a child on falling. So in the meantime, she can express sympathy with others as if it were a child himself, even though it's what an event that happened to another person. Stage 2. Egocentric empathy. The ability to understand object permanence, which will make the child realize that he or she is a person separate from others, both specifically his or her image and the image of others. The child will begin to feel that the other feel pain, not myself pain. Stage 3. Empathy for another's feelings. Over a period of 2 or 3 years, at a time when children are beginning role-taking ability, children are beginning to realize that other people's feelings are different from their feelings, which are based on the needs and interpretations of events in each person, which result in each child having an emotional response to the other people's feelings are different. These periods can be stimulated to empathize by hearing information about other people's feelings. Stage 4. Empathy for other people's life condition. Children will have a great sense of feeling or empathy for other people if they find that a person has a history or experience of pity from the past. Child will have a greater awareness of societies. A child will begin to understand a social group such as a disadvantaged group or different castes of people whose consciousness is so great. The idea of compassion is the basic motivation that makes the child begin to sacrifice something. Have you ever been afraid of ghosts? And what conditions of fear are you in? Now, moving on to the final main issue, that is fear. There are two forms of fear. One is normal fear. It's an innate fear. For example, an infant is afraid of falling from a height and a loud noise. Another form is the fear that results from running comes in three ways as follows. Firstly, being conditionally placed, like a child who is afraid of rabbits because adults took rabbits with a loud noise, so the child was frightened. Secondly, caused by social influence. We will learn the values of society and learn how to be afraid of something that society is afraid of, such as fear of losing face, embarrassment, hate, and failure. Lastly, when the bad event happens to you, knowing the effect of the cause of fear. For instance, a child may never fear dogs before, but when you get bitten, it can cause fear of dog forever. Does anyone know what part of the brain is working about fear? Absolutely, amygdala. It's one of two almond-shaped clusters of nuclei located deep and medially within in temporal lobes of the brain cerebrum in complex vertebrates. including humans. When you feel threatened and afraid, the amygdala automatically activates. The fight or flight response by sending out signals to release stress hormones that prepare your body to fight or run away. This response is triggered by emotions like fear, anxiety, aggressions, and anger. You can learn 6 strategies to overcome fear by click link under this video. On the word of Nelson Mandela, first President of the Republic of South America and winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, that the brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fears. Alright, let's move on to the summary and apply in daily life. To sum up briefly, this story is portrayed through characters with terrifying traits such as ghost, hunting dog, and owl. On the other hand, they have a good heart. This book that reflects face to face with fear, sacrifice, empathy, through adorable characters that express themselves symbolically honest, fear, and intelligence. All things considered, the readers can apply the ideas and experience from this story or solve the problem in their life as follows. Firstly, the treatment of people in society equally, not judging or discarding others just because they not like us, due to everyone is individual different. Therefore, it's important that all people must have in society is empathy for one another. This will make society coexist with happiness as well as the tree gold and Harry. Another important factor that can be used in everyday life is sacrifice. If everyone is ready to give, you will know being a giver is great happiness and give without expecting a return. Giving arrives from the mind of a sacrifice, like the owl in this story, who is a selfless person and ready to solve problems. Finally, fear is not a strange thing for everyone. It's a very important human instinct that has kept the lion to present. Be careful of things that are abnormal. As a result, people live without nurturance. However, we must try to control the fear to the limit. We shall overcome fear by faith to faith with it. You have to abandon your fear in order to live your life creatively. As a Henry Ford said that, the most amazing thing for human beings is to do what you think you cannot achieve. That brings the presentation to the end. Thank you for your attention.